We are here to help. Before we begin, let's go over some definitions. When setting up your long division problem, we need to make sure we are placing the numbers in the correct spots. Suppose we want to divide 32 by 6. 32 is our dividend and is placed under the division symbol. 6 is our divisor and is placed outside to the left. The answer to a division problem is called a quotient. This will be placed on top of the line. If the divisor does not divide the dividend evenly, we end up with a remainder. This is calculated throughout the long division process. Let's begin with a single-digit divisor. Suppose we want to divide 546 by 4. Instead of trying to divide the entire 546 by 4 all at once, we use long division to break it down digit by digit. We always start with the digit in the largest place value first and work left to right, going through each digit one at a time. The first step in this problem is to divide the leftmost digit in our dividend by 4. Since 4 goes into 5 once, we place a 1 on the line above. Always make sure to place the answer right above the digit you are dividing. Now we multiply. 4 times 1 is 4. The 4 is placed below the 5 so we can subtract to calculate our remainder. 5 minus 4 is 1. We use this remainder in our next step. Now we are done with the 5 and we move on to the next digit in 546. You might think that the next step is to divide 4 by 4, but not quite. We had a remainder from our last division step, so we need to combine that with the next digit in the dividend. To do so, we bring down a copy of the next digit and put it right beside the remainder. In doing so, our new remainder becomes 14. Now we ask, how many times does 4 go into 14? Well, 4 times 3 is 12, but 4 times 4 is 16, and that's too big. So our answer is 3, and we place this above the 4 in 546. Now we multiply. We only need to multiply the divisor by the answer we obtained from the latest step. To be clear, we only multiply 4 by 3, not by 13. 4 times 3 is 12, so we place the 12 under the 14 and subtract. Now, like before, we bring down the next digit in 546 next to the remainder. This becomes 26. 4 goes into 26 6 times. Now we multiply. 4 times 6 is 24. 26 minus 24 is 2. Since there are no more digits left to bring down in our dividend, 2 is our final remainder, and our final answer is 136 remainder 2. The final remainder should always be less than the divisor. Now, what happens when your divisor has 2 digits? Suppose we wanted to divide 546 by 45 instead. We set up our problem the same way we did before. The only difference in this situation is our first step. Instead of starting with the first digit of 546, we will consider the first 2 digits as a pair. We consider the first 2 because our divisor has 2 digits. 45 times 2 is 90, which is more than 54, so 45 only goes into 54 once. Now, instead of placing the 1 on top of the 5 on the answer line, we are going to place it above the 4 in 546. We always place our answer above the smallest digit in the number we are dividing in the current step. The next steps are identical to the previous example. We multiply 45 by 1 and subtract. The next digit comes down and our remainder becomes 96. 45 goes into 96 twice. Now we multiply 45 by 2 and subtract. Since there are no more digits in our dividend left to bring down, and our final remainder is less than our divisor, our final answer is 12 remainder 6.